Hi everybody. You've been working on your illustrations for a while now. It's time to start adding some shading effects and value change. This is one way to do it. It's called the knife tool technique. Right now this is pretty flat. Everything's just a solid color. I have a line layer. I have some extra details. I have a color layer that I drew underneath that. Everything's very flat. In order to start to create a little more illusion of three dimension, we're going to add some effects that make it look like one side is a little bit lighter and one side is a little bit darker. So I'm going to pretend that there's a light source up in this area, and that means that some of the things that are on the opposite side of that area would be a little bit darker if I saw it in real life. On this drawing, it's going to be easy to do this pretty quickly if I know just a few tricks and a few tools. So I want to show you the layers that I have right now. I have some detail layers that are on the top. I have a line layer that I started out drawing with. I have an original piece of art that is a template layer, and I just have that turned off right now. So the only thing that I want to work on at this time is the color layer. And I can see that there are a bunch of different shapes in my color layer. I went in and drew some of these individual shapes within the drawing by themselves. So there's the head, it's pretty much its own thing. The body is pretty much its own shape, and then all the pieces that come out of there. There's a part of the arm, there's a hand and a forearm right there. There's a foot. There's already a darker part of a foot right there, and that color might help me out deciding what to do with some of this. Got most of the legs there. I've got an underarm. You can see that this shape is underneath the red shape, and the red shape covers it up. It overlaps, so I didn't have to follow the exact line with that one. Got a red foot down here. Anyway, I'm going to start using some of the tools that I have to start to work with this. I think I'll work on these two leg pieces first. Now I have them highlighted right now. I'm going to show you a special tool right here underneath the eraser tool. If I click on it, I can check out the scissor tool or the knife tool. Knife tool is one I want to use right now. And I'm taking this shape that I already have highlighted, and I'm going to start slicing it up with my knife tool. So in order to use the knife tool on this shape, I have to start completely outside of the shape. I can go through it, and it's going to kind of correct my actions because it wants to make a very smooth cut. I'm going to cut through this thing and find a place where I want to exit the shape and cut all the way out. If I don't start outside the shape and end outside the shape, then it won't actually make a cut. It's kind of like trying to cut through a piece of construction paper but not quite making it all the way through, and then it won't tear apart because this isn't paper. So I cut this part underneath. It's the part on the opposite side of where I think the light source would be. And then I can really easily just go in and change the fill of this shape. And right now I've created just kind of a little shadow underneath Spider-Man's legs there where we might see the darker part. So this one, go same tool, knife tool, cut through it, try to end about the same spot. Now I'll go in and take each of these shapes and do about the same thing to it. Cut it up into smaller pieces, and we'll see if we can add a little bit of the illusion of three dimension to this.
So when you're using the knife tool, do you have to create multiple points, or does it create the curves on its own?
The knife tool tries to simplify the path that you make with your cursor. So it's like making a path and then going into the object controls and simplifying that path. It wants it to be really smooth. I did a bunch of cuts now. I'm just going to go in, use my eyedropper tool, and grabbing one of the colors out of one of the shapes I've already made. So I'll cycle between my arrow tool, and I can hit I for eyedropper and get some of those other shapes changed to the color I want. that one, eyedropper. Hey, that's about all I wanted to change for now. So I'll go in and add my other layers back on, and we'll see what it looks like with all those extra shadows. Hey, that's not bad for a start. It looks kind of cell shaded, if you know what that means, if you're an animation person. But there's definitely other shading techniques, and I'll show you some later.